Welcome to West Highland Shop, where old tools get a second life, vintage machines find their spark again, and a bit of sawdust keeps the stories alive.
Hey, I appreciate you stopping by. I know it's been a while since I've had a video out. Now they're going to be coming a little bit more infrequently through the end of the year. Just got a lot of things to get done around the house and off YouTube projects. But I will be back hopefully with a weekly video sometime in January. But this week I found the other day I did get some time to go to an estate sale. So we're going to do another vise today. And this one I had never seen before. So let me turn the camera around and I'll show you what it is. All right, when I saw this, I thought it was just a kind of cool little vise. Saw it online. It looked like it said made in USA, but I had never seen this before. And then when I saw this, Pexto, I just knew I had to have this. Never seen a Pexto vise. It's in good shape. This isn't bent. There is a little bit of damage here on the jaw. They're not removable jaws, but I thought this would be a fun little cleanup project. It measures about 3 1/4, so I'll just call it a 3-inch vise, and it looks like the original paint was silver and black. I'll probably go back with the same color scheme. It's kind of cool, and it's got this neat little arm here for the swivel lock down. All right, let's see if we can get it broken down and start cleaning it up. All right, where I got this was an estate sale, and this piece of property, I don't know how big it was, but when I got there, there was like 6 or 8 buildings on site. And I mean, this old guy, he had a wood shop, he had a garage, he had a barn, 2 barns, had a metalworking shop. It was pretty neat. And this was in his wood shop. So let's see if we can get this base off first. Just start by loosening that. So we have a lock washer underneath there. I don't know if I can loosen this from here. Nope. Not sure how I'm going to do that. Interesting. All right. Let's get the dynamic jaw out. I'm not sure how this one comes apart, but we'll find out here in a second. Look how clean that is. I mean, there's like no grease in there at all. You can tell it was in a woodworking shop because this is just packed full of sawdust. As you can see it around here too. All right, we got a washer locking it in, and what's holding the washer in? Looks like we got some sort of pin. All right, I want you to see this. I'm going to come around here so I make sure I get it in focus. Not really seen one like this before, but instead of a locking pin or a cotter pin or anything, they have just deformed the threads to keep this on. So we'll have to grind that down, and then once we put it back, we'll have to re-deform them. Never seen that before. All right, that's really easy vise disassembly. So now we will start with the cleanup. I don't think I'm going to put this through the ultrasonic cleaner. Well, I need to get this apart. Let me do that. Here we go. Okay, way they did that. I think what I might do is try and flatten this area out, drill a hole through it, and use a cotter pin. You know, this thing is not that dirty. So I think what I'm gonna do is just hand clean it a little bit and then get it over to the sandblaster. And then we'll get some conditioning belts and pads on this thing and just see what we can make it look like. I think the plan is gonna be is to leave this natural. I'll kind of shine this up a little bit. I'd like to get some black paint down in the Pexto name. We'll clean this up. I won't paint any of this. And then the base is going to get, these areas here will get cleaned up, and then we'll get it sandblasted and just repaint it black. You know, the nice thing is there is no grease on this thing to speak of. There's a little bit here. A little bit here on the bottom of the slide. That's about it. I'm just going to try and flatten this area out here where this was crimped to hold the washer on originally. I'm going to try and flatten both sides, drill a hole, and use a cotter pin to hold the washer on. Actually, I really only need one side flat. Let me dress this up just a little bit more. All right, what I did was I got this a little more flat, as you can see. And then I took a punch and I got my little starter indent there. I don't know if that's in focus or not. There we go. These pieces cleaned up really nice in the sandblaster. These are going to get wire wheeled along with this. All right, for this here, I'm not going for a super shiny finish. I'm just going to clean the faces up with the die grinder. I'll start with a medium, or excuse me, coarse. I'll do medium, and I'll go up to fine. All right, I think I'm ready to go to paint. I've got everything cleaned up the way I want it. So Pexto, if you're not familiar with the brand, I don't know a whole lot about them, but Pexto was kind of short or a moniker for Peck, Stowe and Wilcox Company. I think they were started in the late 1800s. According to my research, this vise was probably made somewhere between 1930 and 1950. I think the company got bought out somewhere around the 60s, maybe 80s, I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm not a big collector of Pexto. I just had never seen one of these vices and thought it would go cool in my vice collection. I hate taping things out. Well, I shouldn't say I hate it. It's just not a lot of fun. It's tedious. And I struggle to cut this tape with a razor blade, so a lot of times I'll take my little needle files and just rub it across the edge. And it does a pretty good job of cutting it and keeping the line clean. Okay, we're ready for paint. This is almost as much fun as putting the tape on. Okay, I'd like for this Pexto name to be a little more prominent, so I've just got some black, just enamel paint, and I'm going to get a small paintbrush and try and paint down in there. I know I will get it all over the edge. If that's okay, I'll come back with some Q-tips or cotton balls and some acetone or something and clean it up. So let's just see if we can get it fairly close. Yeah, I think that cleaned up okay, and then there's the Made in USA after 2 coats. All right, let's get it put back together. I'm gonna start with, I think I need to start with putting this back on because it was difficult to get off. All right, I played with this for a minute off camera. So one thing I've learned is where I was trying to spin this thing around, if I will get this bolt over here to where this is cut out more, I can tighten it this way. So, but it was kind of sticky. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little lubrication on here, and this is just some super lube because I do think it will help it spin a little bit better. If nothing else, just for reassembly. A little bit of lubrication on that's not going to hurt a thing. Now, if I lined the larger end of this hole up with this, I should be able to tighten it down from the top side. There. Spins just fine. Locks down really nice. Okay. A lot of times I'll just put 3-in-1 oil on these, but since I've already got the super lube out, I'll just put a little super lube on here. Not going to put a lot. Okay, that one's done. What a neat little vise. Pexto brand, had never seen this before. I went back with the original paint scheme, except I did use the hammered paint. I just think the hammered paint looks real good on these rough castings. Went with black for the body, and I actually used gray instead of silver. I think it's close enough for the dynamic jaw. Got the swivel working well. Highlighted the lettering there, and then as you saw, I highlighted the Pexto in black. So it's measures about 3 1/4 inch. It's a nice little like homeowner's vise. I think it's really cool. It's going to go great in the collection. Hey, thanks for hanging around to the end. See the cleanup of this little Pexto vise. Looks good up on the shelf, doesn't it? Not a very difficult project today, but fun nonetheless, which is what it's all about. Getting out here and having fun. Y'all take it easy, and we'll see you in a few weeks on the next one.